Hello everyone, my name is Reaper's Shadow 88. Today we're going to be playing a game. I don't understand. Alright, hold on. Is my door closed? Okay, cool. So we got the operator, which is good with machines. We got an extractor, work on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. Great. I know I sound super thrilled right now, guys, but like, it's 5 a.m. and I have not been to bed. I just want to chill, so I'm having trouble sleeping. What about Mechanist? Repairs and modifies automated systems using an industrial resource extraction. Usually diligent, careful, and structured people. Fuck! Let's roll it back real quick. I'd like to change my character. Fine. Never mind, I wasted time again. It's just like rolling back in fucking Walking Dead. Happened a couple times, but that was just because I cheated a little bit here and there. The first thing you become aware of on awaking is the disconnect. The delay. Fuck. Hey, let's restart that. Unknown. Where are you? Yeah, that. The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect, delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It's at its worst when waking, when your self has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Think of that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day, the sting of blood welling from a fresh wound, the friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dull nature of this new body. Given your current circumstances, the walls of the container feel immediately present, cold hard at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next and the retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain, at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now there are thousands of them. Remember the plan. You mostly remember that it wasn't a good plan, but then your options were limited. And once you got the itch to get out, by any means possible, it was either that plan or something much worse. It was at least simple. Collapse the shaft, drift away in the chaos, slipped into cargo processing, sealed yourself into containers, and then hope the freighter left before you were missed. Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock, even if, in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reach any destination. Try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left, surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You have been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You have spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge that false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Time passes, the cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, just the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sounds too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light. White as the cold, softer and softer, until in a haze of dirty yellow a figure appears. You are out. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit, a pragmatic and private salvager. It's an old woman. Bro, that's concerning. You know how much that's gotta suck? It has been a few hours since Dragos put you from the container and you sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard. That's a guy. Swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately carving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, sleeper, you all thawed yet? Almost. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance in sub-zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech. His headset with its glinting eyes, the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irisy eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment, or perhaps he is just figuring out what to do with you. What happened to them? He ignored your question. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation, and I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now, and you are just software, a rogue emulation, illegally possessing corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms. The cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells. The promise of a life off-world, but as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You are an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. As an ARP wants to protect their property, but they can't keep hold of you, well then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from other sleepers. Planned obsolescence, a built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down. Separate from your immolated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you're one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The eye? The station. You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Looks like I've got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freighter container I've been using as storage out in the stacks, so we haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. Nod. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest, and with that, Drago stalks back into the wrecks. His drone's already converging on a rusting hulk. Plasma flashes, silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Welcome to Arlen's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Rescuing will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. You wait curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its messages readable but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are, on this ruined station, millions of miles away from anyone you know. Go lay down. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Building a life. Maybe you did get lucky, finding yourself here. Maybe here, on the edge of everything, there's a life for you to build. But before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Maybe if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some padded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachets smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, but skeletal and ghostly, a web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright, polygonal shapes, like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images. It is long after you've finished drinking, before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best as you can, and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Condition. Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. It depletes. Okay, I'll read it normally. It depletes by one segment each cycle, but can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition, now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. 2. Action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current day cycle. Energy. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you will be starving. When starving, energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will also deplete at a double rate per cycle. Fuck. Dragos is standing in the corridor when you close up the container. He is still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor you realize it is implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder, its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Okay. The drone chirps. Good to hear. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know that container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Sure. All right then. He nods. At the yard of stuff. What? At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old halls down, sell them off. Wait, he's talking. I wonder how many times I'm gonna read this. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old hulls down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labor, and obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up. Chits? These! He pulls out a handful of small metal bars. Air-walled cryo, isolated from the market. It's what we use for trade out here. He stuffs them back in his pocket. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can and sleep as well. He trails off. But things being the way they are for me at the yard, he pauses, I need help. Why? Things are a little tight, that is all. I owe a little cryo to a client here or there. He pauses, thinking of something else said. Look, just come down to the yard. When you're feeling fresher, there's plenty to do. Will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Continue. What is that? Actions are the primary way you interact with the world of Citizen Sleeper. To perform an action, select it with D-pad and A, then choose an action dice to begin to assign. Hold dissection. Repeatable action, even though you're... Lovely. Okay. I can work with that. Type. Either critical or repeatable. Critical actions can only be performed once. Risk. Safe, risky, danger. Safe is no loss of condition, energy, or cryo. Negative outcomes means cryo and energy loss. Negative outcome means condition loss. Neutral outcome can mean cryo or energy loss. Cool. Skill. Actually, the action dice, when slotted, improves its value. Some actions require a +1 to perform. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them. They track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one tracking Drago's death, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle and come complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. Drives and navigation. Drives you unlock more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives depending on which path you wish to take. You can track drives and individual your marker on locations. Left bumper. Okay. Is this fucking D&D? Fucking Liddy. So this is basically D&D, right? This time you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station, that shifting skeletal ring surrounds you. For a moment, you are gone, absent. Oh my god. From your own body, stretched out like across the colors of void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. You see the station. No, you feel the station like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. You find a point in the station, you connect to it, pulse through it, follow loops, and pass around and around it. You touch more points than you have fingers, then you try in a moment of impulsiveness to connect to them. The flow passes through you so rapidly that you feel yourself being carried with it, splitting and separating, eddying and gathering. As you do, things occur to you. Things that you can't possibly know. You reach out, try to grasp them, try to touch them too. You notice a tugging feeling, pulling at you insistently as if you were a small child. Somehow it is pulling you in two directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark stone walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second, you feel it is waiting there. The station's played out across your mind, a storm of connective nodes waiting to be explored, then it is gone. Oh, hell. Yeah. Uh-huh. Dragos. You arrive into a buzz of activity at the yard. Red blinking lights flash across the vast dark shape. Suspended below the dome, they flicker across scorched hull plates and bent structures. Spilling from holes in the twisted shape, the cutter is huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's a beauty, ain't she? Wait, no. She's a beauty, ain't she? Dragos I am too tired for the voices. Oh well. Drogo stands there, to the side, focused on the hulking ship as it is lowered into the yard. She is. I should thank you. This place was on its last legs when you turned up, and now look at this. The ship descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. You struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Rogos for this monstrous craft. You can't help but think of what became of its crew. What happened? What do you mean? He glances at you. I managed to convince our salvager friends to give it to me on credit. That's what happened. No, what happened to the ship? Not my concern, he shrugs. The ship creaks like a calving iceberg as it reaches the base of the yard. Dragos is visibly excited. I know I said you shouldn't stick around, but I'm gonna need some help with this one. The drones start crawling all over the Hulk, their lights illuminating flashes of dented hull. Watching, you wonder if you arrive in a similar fashion. Locked inside that container, the wreck of the Essen ARP freighter lowered into the yard like a corpse ready to be butchered? Or was the container delivered to Dragos on its own, a womb for your rebirth into this strange situation? You shudder. Perhaps if you could learn something about this ship, you might be able to trace the path that led you to this yard. Dragos squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think you're up to it. What do you think? You see the fading name of the ship emblazoned on its side. Winter Light. So let's do it. He claps you on the back. Glad to hear it. Come back in a few and we can make a start. A real beauty. Dragos repeats, perhaps just to himself. You take one last look at the shattered ship as the drones start cutting, and then slip out of the yard, feeling suddenly cold in the empty passage. Paid off. Tutorial, character and upgrades. You've completed your first drive. Each drive completed unlocks an upgrade point to spend on your character. Well, the fuck do you want me to do? Sure. Yes. Explore the market. I am fucking starving to death. Next comes the call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, you know. But now that you are here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer at the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block, they have all made the long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and without a supply of stabilizer, your body will. You suppress a shiver and shuffle forwards to the front door of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Do I look inside or look at the enforcer? You lean against the doorframe and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by the green indicators of stacks of sealed containers. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a doorway, screened with plastic sheeting, beyond which blurred shapes move. The slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. "Wait your turn," he growls. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway and you catch a distant voice. "Send the next one in, Toshiro." The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives you a full view of the bright market-sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and for a moment you are transfixed by the motion. "Come, sit," calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turned away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouths as if to speak. They blink and then quickly regain their composure. "Please sit." They gesture to the bed, then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns, a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. "Remain still, please." Their tone is clipped and businesslike. "Remain still, please." You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression of when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness unmistakably etched across their face. "How long have you been on this station?" they ask. The scanner still under their eye. "A few cycles." They nod. "It's good you came to me." They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. "I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything." They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. "Your body is dying." They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. Essen ARP doesn't look to see its proprietary technology let loose to prevent bodies like yours, frames, as they call it, Warframe, okay, from being stolen, repurposing it, or in your case, escaping. They built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with the saber. They look up. Sound familiar? Yes. Good, that may help. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. "I'm sorry," Sabine says. You are unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or everything else. Emulations like you, sleepers, as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm, and Essen ARP has no reason to release stabilizers into the market. Sabine looks up as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. "I know little of this is to views to you." They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something. Anything. Sabine turns to face you. "I may be able to help," they sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. That's a pretty interesting outfit you got there, Chief. You saw Toshiro outside? You nod. He works for my benefactor, Yatagan. They are influential in the low end. They give me this space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds. They look away. But Yatagan has connections. Smugglers from the Starward Belt. Mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance. Sabine sits down their slate, their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it. Why help me? Sabine walks away from the window, their face dappled by the shadow of passing roads. Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave, Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof. You see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. I guarantee I'm going to fucking die. Like, no shot. Emphas is busy, his broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok. His other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables and some red flecked dressing. The smell is incredible. He watches as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it in the plastic trays. A stack of chits rattles in his apron pocket as customers file past the banner, handing him over payment. Approach. You join the queue. It's mostly made of off-duty salvagers, vac suits unzipping or unzipped, and rolled down to expose stained vests, grubby mods, a lattice of scars and tattoos. They discuss the best food on the eye, the best drinks, comparing notes on bright market dives. Their words cut through with heavy spacer slang. Eventually it's your turn, and you shuffle to the front. Emphas speaks in a deep, even tone without looking up. First try is free. Thank him. The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks. The earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you sleepers, Emphas says while he cooks, his voice deeper but clear. A hard life, a lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap and piercing eyes. I know. Tell him a story. You begin to tell him about your journey to the Eye, and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility and its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold and dark of the container, the endless cycles spent within it. Now it seems you tell him like some dream that you once had but can never forget. You tell him the Eye excites you and scares you, and you're unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually you tail off, running out of words. Go lay down. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Next time we can talk some more, he smiles. But next time, you pay. I need Chewie to read these. I need Chewie to read this guy. He slams a heavy hand against the button on the burner's side and it shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades. Next time, sleeper. He waves you away and begins to oil the walk. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearms, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pin marks. Continue. You walk away, and as you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. I take it that shit was delicious. Interesting. How many do I have? 0? Invis loves two things, stories and food. Maybe if you supply him with both, you can hear his story. Interesting. I don't know if I'm dying. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering light, like stars reflected in a winter lake. It is clearer, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads you see bright shapes, caches of shimmering light beneath transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of a thread across the ring. Through these forms, then leap off into the void. You begin to understand these are nodes and connections, a map of information. There's so many layers, so many loops. Focus on the nodes. Nodes are glassy, bright, but in all this flow, the only solid and fixed points you approach one, a pyramid or a triangle. Dimensions are difficult here, and lean close to it. Inside, shifting layers conceal a tangle of threads, a meeting point of exchange, but before you can glimpse any further, the glass clouds and hardens, cutting you off. The threads and nodes, passages and puzzle boxes, one leads to another. There's so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the paths and open the boxes. You look out across this ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then that insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down again and see two lines, two threads pulling in different directions, as if they were tied to you. The first thread leads out, away from the station, into the inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They are in a ship, and the ship is approaching ever closer with each cycle. The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows it, and this time you see something, a sphere shimmering above a strange, angular body. A pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. You open your eyes. Time is short. Cool. Something has changed inside of you. You can now access the data cloud of the Eye, the network of decaying protocols, and data caches. While there, you can use dyes and items to access systems and extract data, but be careful, these networks are old and strange. Fuck that. She hasn't done it that yet. Nope. Emphasis stall. Street food stall. Get to know this. Order fungus. Emphasis spiked fungus is one of the few things potent enough to stimulate your limited taste sensors. It's incredible stuff. Probably tastes absolutely fucking insane. Input 15 cryo? How do I know how many I have? 123. Start action. I don't see my energy. I see my dice. Kind of want to. Crazy. As you close up, a voice echoes down the corridor towards you. Sleeper, wait up. Fang is coming down the corridor towards you, a wonky grin on his broad face. Hey Glenn, I caught you. Do I know you? He grins. You do now. He puts a hand on your arm. I've seen you hanging around, just wanted to chat. You staying on in that thing? He nods back to the container, shaking his head. Rough. It can be hard to get a start on the eye. He looks away down the passage. What was it old Erlin said? The eye opens for us all? Nice idea, but well, not always very practical. He glances back at you. We do our best, but it isn't easy. We? You pass together into the main walkway. Havanage. We are all one dysfunctional family. Fang puts an arm around you. I'm not part of the security branch, though. Don't worry, I'm with Systems. Systems? Everything their eyes runs on. He runs a hand along the passage wall. This place is a ruin, but Systems keeps it spinning somehow. At least we try to. He stops you in the quiet passage. Look, that's not what I'm here to discuss. I saw you around, and well, I know a little about you sleepers. I have a little proposition for you. He glances around, but this is not the place for it. I have an office just across the way. Give me a cycle or two to prepare, then when you are settled, stop by. He lowers his voice and gives you a dark look. In truth, I need you. If what they say is true about you sleepers, well, there's work to be done. He pats you on the back, his voice bright, and his dark look suddenly gone. Stay clean, sleeper. He walks off down the passage, raising a hand in farewell. Crazy. I'm gonna fucking cry. Here's what I want to do. What the fuck? Cool. Fuck that. fucking condition can eat my dick. Yeah? Cool. Yeah, I don't need to go that way yet. Might as well. Kinda wish I didn't. Did I just fucking spin that? My home for now. I am going to die. Wonderful. Sleeper. Fink. Sleeper. Fink catches your attention as you approach the Havanage building, leaning against a bay door to the side of the entrance. You approach. Easier to come in this way, security and all that. He gives you a look, you know. He slams a button on the bay creaks open, blinking lights in the dark behind it. You follow Fang inside. Truth be told, I don't spend much time upstairs. This is where I work. The door hisses as it closes behind you. The bay is filled with pieces of hardware, all rigged up to generators and diagnostic slates and things you don't recognize that glow with blue screen light. There is a chorus of hums that blends into a single wave of static. Filling the dark corners of the room. You like it? What is all this? He taps on a nearby server stack which beeps in response. This is my treasure trove, all dredged up from the sea of systems we call the Eye. You wouldn't believe what this place runs on. He steps over to a towering block speckled with vents. Some of these systems are from the original station. AE-1. Britannica 1. The ones Solheim built. We've had to invent new components, repair things we never built, reverse engineer entire subsystems into existence. Residents here look up at the Eye and think they are seeing a concrete reality, but this place is a system in constant flux, decaying and growing, collapsing into new configurations. He walks down between the hardware stacks, and you follow. We are keeping this place alive, but also remaking it into something new, dragging it away from those corporate origins. He stops. At least that's what I'm trying to do. Turns back to face you among the flickering machines, humming all around you. I know you can see this too, Sleeper. All these systems and sections, you can. I can see it. It makes sense, right? You are between here and there, between their people and their systems. You light this place up like a beacon. That's what I need. You glance at the lights around you, and as you do, they seem to flicker, to realign, to follow your gaze. Fang notices it too. I'm guessing being a beacon isn't always ideal when you are on the run, though. They are tracking me. Maybe I can help with that. There's a lot of old growth in this place. Subsystems I can't see. Access protocols lost to time and decay. Secrets, a shitload of secrets. With your help, I can unlock this place. Break off those last ghost limbs of corporate control. He lowers his voice below the hum. Even in Havanage, there's old growth. Those whose roots trace back into those bad old days. You help me dredge up the past, and I'll see what I can do about that tracker of yours, he winks. What do you say? I'm in. Fang pumps his fist and claps you on the shoulder. He meets your eyes. You won't regret it. Sleeper. Fang passes you a ragged-looking metal slab. A gift, he smells. It's a Solheim cipher. I dug it up from the depths of the station. Slot that into an old network gig and you'll be able to pull out all kinds of secrets from the nodes inside. He walks you back to the front of the bay. Start up by bringing me whatever you can turn up. Use that emulated mind of yours and see what's out there. Let's get a picture of how things are. Those above, he nods at the ceiling, have granted me an acquisition budget. I can pay you for whatever useful data you bring in. I know you need it. He slams the door button again. Keep it quiet and keep it clean, Sleeper. I'll see you soon. You step, blinking, back out into the passage, those flickering lights still in the back of your mind. I don't have one for that. Don't have one for that. Nope. Yeah, I'm gonna do that one. I don't have shit. Don't have that one either. Or that one. Oh, did I fuck up? I'm gonna use that one. The final pieces of the Winter's Light sit in neat piles, waiting for the collection shuttle from Havanage. Dragos managed to sell the remaining pieces to the shipyards, a fact that's hard to forget as he has been telling you about it for the past 2 cycles. And all that remains is for Havanage to come and collect. You look around at the yard, transformed from when you first arrived. The mostly repaired drones flit back and forth, no longer buzzing unevenly or lost in dark corners, and the scrap is sections sorted, the system that you and Dragos have put into place over the past cycles paying off. As you look, notice the glow of pale light from the office by the entrance. That rundown cab of a building which houses all of the records and spare equipment. Dragos must be inside, and you get to your feet and walk over to find out when the shipyard collection crew will be here. Knock. Sleeper, come in. You swing open the door and walk in. Dragos is sitting at the small metal desk. The shipyards told me they'd... The shipyards told me they'd be here soon. Then they'll hand over the chits and we are set. He writes something with a stylus on the slate, then shuts it off. Of course, we should talk about a bonus. He stands and looks to you, his face placid. Look, I don't know when the next job is coming, but this should tide you over for now. He opens his hand to reveal a stack of chits. What's going on here? I said it's a bonus. Take it. Dragos presses the chits into your hands. I've done well for you. I've done well by you, and you've returned a favor. He straightens up and clears his throat, and you realize he has prepared what he is about to say. These chits are for you to take and do what you will with them. They are from me, and they are the last I'm gonna give you. He pauses. There's no more work for a sleeper in this yard. He folds his arm. I'm sorry, but that's it. You stay in the container as long as you need, but the yard is done with you. What do you mean? Don't press me, sleeper. This is for your own good. The glassy apertures in Dragos' headset betray no emotion. You need to stay away. You need to stay away, sleeper. He pauses, considering his words. Trouble is going to follow you here. Trust me. Am I in danger? You expect not to be? You escaped from Essen Arp? Dragos suddenly grabs you by the shoulder and drags you out of the office into the yard. Turns you to face a stack of pieces from the Winter Light, dissected, cut down, and totally unrecognizable as a ship. You came through that, sleeper. That should have been you, chopped and stacked. His hand trembles on your shoulder. That is what happens here. We cut down broken machines and move them on. Well, I didn't cut you down, but I'm sure as hell moving you on. Moving you on? Moving you on before whoever killed that ship out here comes to kill me. Kill you? Kill both of us, he shakes his head. These ships, they didn't get decommissioned. They didn't break down in dry dock. You'd think they'd look like that if they did. Someone ended them. That means someone tried to end you, sleeper, and I'm done waiting for them to turn up. We've had our fun, now it's time. He gives you a little shove. Go on! He turns and walks back to the office. That's it, he shouts, and goes inside. The silence hangs in the air, and you leave with your pockets filled with clinking chits and a strangely hollow feeling in your chest. Thanks, dick. Minus drive. No upgrade points. Oh, they'll pay me? Ooh, Sabine. The first... Fuck. Hold on. Give me like 2 seconds. 3, 4, maybe 5. The first thing you see on entering is the glint of Toshiro's implants like a cat's eye. In the dark of the corridor, he nods you in as you arrive at Sabine's door. The entryway is still dark and you push through the sheets into the surgery. I have it. Sabine stands with a case open in front of them, a set of vials lined up inside, separated by foam inserts. They pack one up, rotating it in the warm light. I have no idea how, Yatagan, they trail off. We should treat this with caution. It looks authentic, but I have no idea if it really is what it appears. The test case? That seems to be the case. Unfortunately, I'm not sure we have another choice. They gestured for you to sit on the bed. The stabilizer works for a similar principle to an immunosuppressant in a transplant operation, in that it stops your body from rejecting the unfamiliar part of yourself. In the case of your frame, the unfamiliar part is each of your biosynthetic organ groups, which over time are identified by your body as foreign material and therefore must be eliminated. Sabine holds up a vial of the would-be stabilizer. However, unlike an immunosuppressant, the stabilizers do this by limiting your entire immune system. Instead, it re-encodes your biosynthetic organs with new protein chains which act as passcodes within your immune system. The stabilizer refreshes those passcodes, keeping your frame from rejecting all of its own organs. Passcodes. In very basic terms, yes, they sigh. Look, what matters here is that the stabilizer should be able to encode any organic or biosynthetic matter to be accepted by your immune system. He glance away. At least if the stabilizer is genuine. The only way to know for sure is to inject the vial. They begin readying the syringe, and we'll start with small to limit the risk. Okay, let's do it. Sabine cracks the glass neck of the stabilizer vial and uses a syringe to extract a fraction of the liquid. They tap the syringe and you watch as if any sign might emerge from the clear liquid. You barely feel the needle, your frame registering the initial injection but with little response. A sensation begins to spread from the site. A fizzing, trembling wave that disperses through your arm with incredible speed. Your vision goes white, and when it returns, Sabine appears encased in shards of sparkling light that slowly fades into darkness as you settle back against the bed. You swim in darkness, muffled noises like an argument heard from underwater, prickling waves of cold. When you sit back up, Sabine is sitting in a chair by the window, facing away from you, backlit by the glow of their slate. Awake? Yes. The stabilizer is genuine. They sit down beside the bed. I don't know how Yatagan acquired a case of this stuff, but they did. Sabine looks troubled, distracted. You should rest some more, but you are going to have to do that's somewhere else. They gesture to the door. I have other patients, sorry. Sabine nods towards the case. I'm afraid I can't offer you any more doses. You are going to need to pay for the next dose. Silence falls the room and they return to their glowering slate. Looking around the room, it seems different somehow, as if things have moved or shifted. You wonder how long you've been out. Sabine? Nothing comes free, sleeper. Remember that. You manage to get to your feet and wander out into the hallway. The queue stretches down the flickering corridor. Toshiro stands impatiently by the door and fixes you with a glare as you leave. You lower your eyes as you stumble past, somehow faintly aware of the station spinning beneath you. Cool, I guess. I don't have one, because I'm a fucking idiot. Uh-huh. Fuck it, I guess. Let's go. Emphasis is stall. Not yet. I have an idea. I'm gonna sleep in my empty container. What the fuck is that? Let's go. Okay. So I'm vibing for a minute. Don't have that one. Do have that one. As you drift back from the node, something latches onto you. A thread, strung tied around you. It tethers you in place. A taste. The voice makes you shiver. Its source somehow both distant and close behind your ear. You see a distant glint of light shut off, and then suddenly a shape as at your side. It stalks around you, circling like a shark, like a wolf. Entity unknown. Astringent. Processing. Stay silent. Please hold. The thread around you thickens until it is a ring, a cylinder, a tunnel of light circling around you. It is blinding for a moment and then it is gone. As it fades, you see a figure, a creature in front of you. Its strange head flickers between different angles, reading you. What are you? The shape paces around you on lithe legs, though there is no ground. Hunter. No ground here ought to pace on. Entity, identify. Origin, serial, cadence. The figure faces you expectantly. Sleeper. Unknown, known. The figure's strange head rotates. Brackish signature. Of and not of tempting interface. As the figure speaks, more threads begin to spiral from its head. Thick, snaking, vine-like ribbons that flex and wave. They approach with intent. Stop! The figure halts its thread, its head twitching. Entity, your identity is unknown. We only seek to collect illegalities. Can you confirm your legal right to sentience? I'm a person. Incorrect, you are an entity. All at once, Hunter's head is directly in front of you, blocking your vision. You stink of their taste, the one from the sealed dock, Hunter, shimmering with fury. I will find access. I will interface. Sealed dock? An entity hides in the rotunda. You are its puppet. Hunter extends a razor-edged thread. I will not be diverted from my task. It glows with murderous intent. Strike. You strike, lash out with all your force. Not a physical strike, but a focusing. A spike of interference leaps out like a tip of a spear. Hunter stumbles, shifts, separates, wakes up. You open your eyes, blinking back into the station light, shaking with fear. Thanks, fucking asshole. I have one. And then this one was a 2, right? I'm not allowed. I guess I'll fuck myself. Wait, what? Thought I saw something. I guess I was mistaken. It seems annoyed that I'm here. Input data. Crypto scoping the systems. Another one. Am I out of data? Holy shit. Why am I out of data? I don't need a stabilizer yet. But I do need to order the fungus. Action complete. Infus. Sleeper. Infus calls out to you. A booming voice that echoes through the corridor. Tell me a story. He throws a handful of... Tell me a story. I don't know how to do his voice. I need Chewie, bro. I need Chewie to come in. Just read this shit for me. At least this guy. Tell me a story. He throws a handful of chopped mushrooms into his wok. The fire clap leaping up to meet the oil. I see you. Cycle in, cycle out, but we never speak. Tell me a story. What kind? Any kind. He pauses to drizzle something from a plastic bottle into the wok. But one of yours. He looks up at you. Nothing stolen. You pause, the spices reach your nostrils, and think about the kind of story you'd like to tell Infus. You look at Infus, the listener, and imagine he has heard it all before. Perhaps you would enjoy a strange story, something with some spice. Tell him about your dreams. All the sleepers, you tell Infus, had dreams. Some were simple, memories left over from the emulation process that had become tangled up in their minds and would come out when they slept. It wasn't rare to hear a sleeper in the dorm scream or cry out in the night. But your dreams, those gray, skeletal after images of systems and structures of threads and patterns, weren't like the others. They weren't memories or nightmares, they were reflections of reality. Distorted, yes, but somehow true. You learned back then to keep quiet about them, to let them not flow through your mind like water. That was until now, until you arrived in this place. Now your dreams colonize your waking life. They slip behind your eyelids with every blink, and now you understand they aren't dreams at all, but some process of interfacing, of speaking, of living in another world that flows through this one like smoke through air. You tell them that you do not know if there is a reason for your dreams. Perhaps your reason it is... You reason it is just some side effect, or particular quality of the frame you inhabit. But whatever it is a gift, and you hope to make use of it. Infus finishes cooking and squints a little at you. Sleeper, he smiles. You are quite the storyteller. He eyes you, and you realize that he is trying to gauge how honest you have been in the story. Infus passes you the meal he has cooked, and you take it gratefully. As you eat, he talks, a natural exchange. Thank you, Sleeper. He looks around at the emptying market. But my time is done for today, and I do not want to keep you longer, so I will make a proposal. He gestures to the plastic boxes of ingredients stacked behind the stall. These are good enough for most, but someone told me a story that made me think. A couple of cycles ago, they said that across the gap in the Greenway, fresh mushrooms grow. Have you heard this? No. Neither had I, but I trust the one who told me. Infus begins packing up his things. Can you bring me some? I cannot cross the gap, and I worry about leaving my things behind. He smiles. I'm a storyteller like you. Sure, a storyteller like you can handle the trip. I will prepare them for you, and if you wish to tell it, be the audience for another story. Agreed. Good. Good, booms Infus. Dude, I want Chewie in here so bad to fucking read this. He's busy. It's also 8 a.m. now. I stopped streaming Phasmophobia at 4:30. I'll be there again in a minute. I'm just gonna chill with sleep deprivation today. It'll be fine. Good. Good, booms Infus. Then I will wait for you to bring them. Infus slides his walk away and straightens up. I will prepare a sliced recipe then, Sleeper. Good luck with your foraging. You turn away and walk back into the main market, the rich taste of Infus's food still lingering in your mouth. Stories for food, you think. A trade that seems more than fair. Yeah, okay. Holy fucking shit. Nah. Okay, so I can now go through here. But it's so fucking concerning. That's 3. Thing. Okay. 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 Let's see how it is. As you enter the bay, Feng is nowhere to be seen. The banks of servers and machines blink out of the dark. In staccato rhythms. Unseeing eyes of the station's digital ghosts. Shitheads! Feng's voice echoes from behind a stack, followed by the hammer of a fist on a metal casing. These snaky shithead. Who's snaky? Sleeper! Feng's smiling head pops out from behind a stack. Just the emulated consciousness I've been eager to see. Come back here. You pick your way between the thrumming stacks. Trying not to trip on the loose bundles of cables that blanket the dark floor. Feng is sat in front of the set of monitors mounted to a stack. Tell me, Sleeper, what do you see here? Feng waves at a monitor to his side, glowing with pale lists of information. You lean in closer. Looking for the links in the data. The tables seem to be filled with personal information, names, genders, dates, ID, all the markers of institutional records. Shitheads? Fang laughs. Oh, maybe not all of them, but what kinds of shitheads? Solheim. Bingo! He taps at the terminal. I pulled these from the old data you brought in. All employees of the Eye's original owners. And he leans past you and scrolls down the list. This one is a snaky shithead. He stabs at the screen with a finger. The name reads Hardin Hearst. Who's Hardin? That, says Fang, giving you a sideways look, is the thing. He drags a stool out beside him and motions for you to sit. There just so happens to be a Hardin Hearst in Havanage. He waits for your reaction. In Havanage? That's it. He's right here in the station now. Fang leans back in his chair. Just think about it. Decades ago, Hardin worked on the ship as a... Fang leans across to look at the monitor. Senior Strategic Operations Executive. Fang raises his eyebrows to you. R. Hardin was keeping the money coming in for Solheim. He defined priority growth initiatives by making sure the extractors they contracted out to were hooked into a system that outsourced all the risk and kept the profit. Good old Hardin shuttled thousands of Palladium rush workers into infrastructure, which meant that their cut of the work they did went straight back into Solheim. How do you know this? I grew up here, Sleeper. This is my history. I am a child of the collapse. Fang turns back to his screen, staring hard at the string of codes flickering by. Before I was born, my parents were Solheim contractors. They ate in Solheim canteens, worked in Solheim ships. They breathed Solheim air and slept in Solheim beds. Fang's voice rises as he speaks, his hands fist on the terminal edge. And the work that paid for their existence, the cycles of hard extraction out in the belt, Solheim took their cut. This was a company town, so to speak, and my parents were just another in the long line of freelance contractors willing to risk their lives for a shot at anything other than poverty. Disposable. This guy stabs at Hardin once again with his finger, strategized all that, did the sums, and then somehow thousands and thousands of cycles later is still going, still here, crawling in the walls like some shithead snake. He survived the revolution. But how? These guys, they were big time. There's a lot money can get you if you are a company man. Fang relaxes a little. But how is Hardin still kicking? I really don't know. He turns to you and smiles. So we are going to go find out. Hardin is now a big shot in the shipyards, just a few degrees back from the eye from here. Fang brings up a map of the lower eye. Havanage must be born out of Erlin's revolutionary zeal. But a flat hierarchy is not. Hardin happened to float to the top. Fang zooms in on the far yards. Fang grimaces. The thing is, I don't have access to those systems. The shipyard crew is pretty paranoid and they don't like anyone from systems digging around in their stuff. Plus, we need more than just the name of a Solheim executive. We need proof. Fang holds up a thumbnail-sized drive. That's where this little creation of mine comes in. I call it a ripper worm. He turns the drive between his fingers. It'll rip through any digital storage and spin out a silken thread of filtered data. This one is set on the scent of Hardin Hearst. He hands it over. Getting into the compound might be tricky. Fang puts a hand on your shoulder, but you, however, have a particular knack for remote access. Fang grins. If you can extract yourself a Havanage cipher from a Havanage agent, you sometimes carry them among their data caches. You can crack open the compound's network and slot the worm in through any open port. You never even need to go near the shipyards. So what do you say? You up for it? What's in it for me? Rooting out a corrupt snake not enough? Find the information and I'll start work on that tracker of yours. Fang scratches at his chin. Anything the worm gets, it'll send it back here to me. There's something wrong here, and I aim to get to the rotten core of it. You leave Fang digging through data among the wires and machines of the old station. As you walk out, you try to imagine the eye as it once was, a vast machine running smooth and strong. Directed by people like Hardin, a vast Solheim-built machine into which thousands poured from the surrogate systems looking for a new life. The hope of a better future engineered in line. Someone else's pockets. It's an idea you are intimately familiar with. You think of Hardin, still alive, still part of this place. You wonder if the past is ever truly past. Oh my god. Eat the fattest cock ever. So what do I need to do? You motherfucker. Might as fucking well. I see. Nah. A glimmer in the dark catches your eye. As the orb of Hunter's head appears in the distance, it is looking for you. Hide. You slip down into the ghostly structures of the eye, feeling like passing through a cloud as their data structures deform and reform around you. Another glimmer catches your eye. Closer now, that roving orb, wreathed in tentacles. It is... It flickers, jumps once, twice, then it is here. Hunter is here. Entity, submit to inquiry. Hunter reaches for you in its unpleasant, familiar way. It's weaving threads, creating a cage. Resist. You push against the... I know, I'm being a little slow with my reaction time. Hold on. You push against the threads as they close in, becoming frenzied as you push them aside. You are caught by whipping tendrils. You feel them pulling you away from the anchor of your body. You push through, clearing the threads. Entity, hold for processing. Comes the scream from behind you, but you are already gliding away back to your anchor, your body. You awake, dizzy, distorted, but safe. Upgrade point? Nah. I am fucked. Cool. Noodle manufacturer. Energy and crypto. sir. Anything else? What the fuck? Give me just a second. Tracking Havanash. You've heard that Yatagan forcers based here have been paying low-end residents for information on Havanash movements. Put one Havanash data. $151 rum, pineapple juice, samalabu, karabu, demonum. Pay for passage. Take the ferry across real quick. As you step out into the passageway, someone barrels into you from behind, sending you stumbling down the corridor. You turn to see an unfamiliar spacer. Laden with heavy gear, she steadies herself, staring you down as if daring you to respond. Excuse me? She squints at you, shaking her head before setting off down the corridor. I'm sorry for her. A second spacer smiles at you apologetically. She's on a mission, and when she's on a mission, they shrug. Not a problem. They smile. You're sweet. Peek. Ish stands further down the corridor, glowering at her friend. She chops at the air, pointing down the corridor to whatever inn she is rushing to. Peek raises her eyebrows at you. Ish, please, do you want everyone in this station to hate us? Ish hardens. They want to hate us, they can hate us. She drops her hip. I'm not exactly seeing seeing much love as it is. We're lucky we got through before they set up that damn cordon. Cordon? Peek gestures in your direction. See, they don't even know what you are talking about. This station isn't Hawthorne. Not everyone has to follow some corporate protocol. Ish sighs. I'm not saying they are part of the administration. She jerks her head in your direction. But I'm saying we need to get these supplies to the Briar before someone starts asking questions. Can I help? Peek smiles slyly. See, Ish, help isn't that exactly what we need right now? Peek. Ish rolls her eyes. Peek ignores her. We are with the refugees. The ones Havanash have cordoned off from the entire station. Ish interrupts. The ones that are being quarantined in makeshift vessels that barely make it to the eye to begin with. The ones that your station administrators have called an existential risk and are running out of supplies while their right to safety is being debated by people with no stake in their future. She quickly looks away, annoyed at her own outburst. Peek sighs. She's right. People are trapped out there, and they turn to Ish. We understand that this is a big problem for the Eye, hundreds of refugees and more ships turning up each cycle. They hold up a hand to stop Ish interrupting. But Ish turns away, her burning anger a palpable force in the close quarter of the corridor. They need supplies, and after everything they've been through, the quarantine isn't helping. That's terrible. Ish looks back at you, her fierceness fading. Peek, please. Ish gathers herself and the supplies. Ish, we need help, just like the refugees needed us. We need others too. They smile at her. Pete turns to you. Come find us. The climbing briar is docked at the broken spoke past the greenway in the waste. We have a good view of the cordon, though we are keeping our distance for now. Come help us. They squeeze your hand. Ish turns to leave and Pete follows, waving goodbye. A moment later, Ish shouts back down the corridor, "Don't bother coming empty-handed. You want to help? Show us. Bring us supplies or don't come at all." And with that, they disappear around the corner. Ish already picking up speed as Pete calls for her to slow down. A refugee flotilla? Where are they coming from? And why now? Each time you think you begin to understand this place, something changes. Facts. Alright. 1 second since last autosave. I'm gonna call it here, and I'm gonna join Demon on fucking... Oh, let me make sure he's here. Demon, you here?
Yep.
Alright, give me just a moment.
Alright.
Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna call this one here. Yeah. This game is so fucking interesting.